Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Today's episode is about guns, and where there is quite a wee bit of difference between the US and the UK. Now, living in the UK, the only people who had guns were criminals, the military, and on occasion the police. Otherwise, civilian ownership was restricted, even more restricted after episodes like Dunblane. So people would in the countryside would have shotguns, for shooting creatures and for sport, but that's about it. So my exposure to firearms was minimal in the UK. When I came to the US, things changed a little bit. I remember riffling through my wife's drawers and pulling out a sock which contained a little 38 special snub nose revolver. And that didn't seem to be a big deal. Oh, my wife said, oh, that was my dad's gun. And it was just sitting there, empty, but there were 5 Polar Point plus P 38 rounds there. And so there we were. First surprise about guns. Next surprise, visiting a friend's house. They said, oh, come and stay at our place and while we're away, and you can have a barbecue, whatever. So Peter goes to the cutlery drawer, looking for a bottle opener, and lo and behold, there's a semi-automatic pistol in there. It was a bit of a surprise to me because I didn't really know much about guns, and you always have this idea that if you touch it, it's going to blow up or something. So, of course, that doesn't happen, I've since discovered. But it was a bit of a surprise, but it seemed to be no big deal. So gun ownership is prevalent. I wouldn't pretend that everybody's got a gun. There are some people who don't have guns. If you're in a state which is more restrictive, you might not. If your politics are such that you're not really a gun kind of person, you might not have them. But generally, they're around and they're not really thought of as anything particularly special or exotic because it's part of the culture, also part of the Constitution, Second Amendment and all. Remember going up to visit my relatives in Michigan. I was looking for a vacuum cleaner in the cupboard, and of course, propped up in the corner was a bolt-action rifle, or probably a 30-06 hunting rifle, because they do quite a bit of hunting up in the north for deer, that kind of stuff. So that's the big difference. Now, my feeling about guns in Britain was definitely control them. Restrict ownership, restrict access. Now, in the States, I think that chicken has flown the coop. There are so many guns. They tend to last forever. A gun built 100 years ago will still fire now. So I don't know where you would start if you said, let's try and do something about the prevalence of guns and gun violence and whatever. I'm a believer that if people are crazy, if they are dangerous, mentally ill or whatever, you should try and stop them from keeping and holding guns. And obviously convicted felons can't hold guns. But the idea of anything like a confiscation program or whatever just isn't on. And so there we are. It's a different culture. It's a different country. It's part of their psyche almost, and I think it'll always be the case. And while that's always the case, there'll always be gun violence. And I haven't really got a solution to that. If anybody wants to comment on that, they feel free to do so. But this is where it is at the moment. I must confess I am a gun owner. I do recreational shooting, go down to a range occasionally and make little holes in paper targets for fun. And I'm afraid it is actually fun if you get into it. And So there we are. I guess I've been fluoridated now, and have been being a gun owner, but it was a bit of a surprise for me, a bit of a change. But then I guess you've got to go with the flow, and it seems to be the thing. So anyway, thanks for watching, if you're watching, and have a good day, as they say out here.